Hi guys, this is Lucky with Lucky Seven Tarot. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, as you can see, we are going to be discussing, and I've gotten so many requests for this. So um, we're going to be discussing Diddy and Cassie. Okay, from the perspective of the cards. Okay. First of all, before we get into this, I want to thank you guys for being here with me. Unfortunately, I have been unavailable just because my son graduated and we had his party and stuff. So I appreciate your patience with me. I am back and in full effect. He is on vacation and here we go. Okay. I do have individual sign readings coming up for those of you that are um, on the Empress package on Patreon. So, all right. So, I've got my handy dandy notebook, and I'm going to be sharing my screen with you so you can see everything that I'm talking about. Okay. Um, and then I will share certain opinions based on the cards. All right. I'm also going to pull out the book also. So, just in case I need it, because sometimes my memory fails me. So, anyway, we're going to talk about, first of all, Diddy's cards, Cassie's cards, Kim Porter's cards, Gina Hahn's cards. If you don't know who these people are, um, obviously Diddy is on trial right now, undergoing a federal RICO case um, for SMEX trafficking, um, and a lot of that is involving Cassie because of abuse, right? And we all saw the video of him at the Intercontinental Hotel um, physically assaulting Cassie, right? And there's a lot of opinions about that. We're going to talk about what the cards say and what the cards show. And I encourage you to watch this video because looking at this, it can help you to also understand how to use the cards in your own relationships. So this is a really informative video for that, okay? To help you to avoid some of this, okay? So let's get into it, okay? I am sharing, well, trying to share the screen. Okay, so this is one of the screens for that is available, the software that is available for Patreon subscribers on the website Lucky Stars Karma Cards. Okay. Um, oop, let me get there. All right. So Diddy's birthday is 11/4/69. Okay. 11/4/69. So his birth card is a three of diamonds. His planetary ruling card is the seven of diamonds, and he has two planetary ruling cards because he is a Scorpio. And his other planetary ruling card is the two of hearts. All right. And in the life spread, you can see the life spread for the three of diamonds. So let's kind of real quick just go over that. First of all, look at, you see the ace of spades here, right? As a matter of fact, let's go to the yearly and weekly karma cards and put his information in so that you guys can get an understanding of that, as like, because the definitions of everything, or not definitions, but the um written out stuff is there when you click on the cards. So Diddy is currently 55 years old. So I will put, just so I'm aware, we'll put his name there. This is his life spread right here. And it's the same cards from the other one. This one, we can just click on them to provide descriptions. Um, so if you look, the life spread, which is the spread for his whole life for his cards, right? Here you have an ace of spades and six of spades in Mercury. You've got Seven of Hearts, King of Spades in Venus. And I will explain to you what these mean, and then we'll click on it to see if I'm right, as far as like descriptions, etc. Um, Seven of Diamonds, Seven of Clubs. So this is the direct card. This spread right here, the first top spread is the direct cards. These are the vertical cards. Vertical cards give more information about the direct cards. Okay. In his Jupiter cards is the Five of Spades, Ace of Hearts. Saturn cards, Jack of Hearts, and the Jack of Spades. Okay. Why is this important? If you are on Patreon, you know that this month, the month of May, is what? The Jack of Hearts month. And I talk about that. Let me see if I can pull it up on Patreon. Every month when the month changes, I post all the information about that month. Now, what is Saturn? Saturn is restriction. Saturn is responsibility. Um, Saturn can suck, or it can be, it could be something great. But yeah, I talked about on May 2nd, I posted, welcome to the Jack of Hearts month, right? And Jack of Hearts is one of the three cards in the spread that is a fixed card. Okay. There is the eight of clubs, and the King of Spades is also a fixed card, but it's the Jack of Hearts is one of three cards that's fixed. Okay. And whose picture? Did I put her picture there? I did not. Okay. We'll get into that then, because I didn't post it. I didn't put her picture there, which is crazy. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Okay. So let's talk about personality cards. After, well, then he's got the Nine of Clubs here, Uranus, Nine of Spades, and then the Nine of Spades, also Neptune. Okay, and this is just his birth card spread. He has two more cards. He's got the Seven of Diamonds spread, which is his planetary ruling spread. That's down here. And then the Two of Hearts spread, which is down here. And we will get into those things as well. Okay. Cassie's birthday is 8/26/86. She's a Virgo. All right. And we can look at her card. She's a King of Hearts, King of Diamonds person. Why is this important? Well, we're going to talk about personality cards. So, every single person, whatever your card is, so let's, for example, the King of Hearts, this person being, if you're a hearts person, let's say you're an Ace of Hearts or a Two of Hearts or whatever, right? Personality card, you've got the three, um, Jack, Queen, King. Okay. Every single human being, when you're born, your personality is the Jack of that suit. Okay. Until you become more mature, then you become either the king or the queen of that suit, right? When you mature in age and when you mature in your physical realm, right? You become the king or the queen of that suit. So, why does that matter? Well, that matters for a lot of reasons, because it tells us a lot about what's going on here. Okay. Now, if we look at, this is Cassie's, so we can change the name here so you and me are not confused. Um, so this is Cassie's birthday and Cassie's information. So she is a King of Hearts birth card and a King of Diamonds planetary ruling card. Okay. Now, if you notice, and there's so many different things. So I'm like, I'm trying not to confuse you and kind of skip around as much. But so as far as personality cards are concerned, when we are young and we are young minded, even, we take on the Jack of our suits personality card. Okay. As we mature, not just in age, but in mental maturity, right? We either, if you're a woman, you become a queen of that suit. If you're a man, you become the king of that suit. And but you always have access to the lower, immature version of that suit. It's just how you choose to utilize your personality, right? You have a choice in how you choose to what you choose to hold on to. Okay. Um, because some people, some men, let's say, never mature out of the Jack energy. It takes years and years and years. You know, some women do the same thing. Um, so let's talk about it now. And I wanted to just kind of show you those her cards, but we're gonna go back to Diddy, right? So 1969. But so the mere fact Diddy has an ace of spades in Mercury and a six of spades. Why is this important? This tells me that there are many secrets that he has that he either communicates, and this is likely stemming from childhood. Mercury is childhood, our childhood nature, our early childhood. Um, it has a lot to do with the way we think and speak and what we think and speak about, right? So Um, it says, under this influence, secret activities, trips, communication are likely, even a secret related to siblings. You may have a strong desire for secret information during this period. An unexpected change or sometimes even death is possible during this time, but death does not always mean a physical death. In fact, it most often means a death of a certain way of living or being. There are likely to be spiritual changes under this influence, even hidden conversations, maybe even self talks. And then the six of spades. Things often remain steady under this influence, and it is likely that there will not be any changes in your circumstances, good or bad, in this influence. Slow speaking or thinking is also possible, right? Now, this is just talking about his life spread, full life, right? From the time he's born, you could see all the things that are going to affect this person. And May is a Jack of Hearts month, and um his first of all, Cassie being a King of Hearts, born a King of Hearts, her personality card as a young woman would be the Jack of Hearts, and the his hearing began in a Jack of Hearts month, Saturn month. Okay, now, the Jack of Spades, right? This is Saturn energy to him. Incompetent physicians may be the source of difficulty for you under this influence. This may not be a good time to put your trust in doctors. There is also a possibility of being ripped off by a dishonest or disreputable person or business. So pay attention to your belongings during this period. Now, because these are more geared to the yearly spreads and the weekly spread, not necessarily for the life spread. It doesn't sound like it's written for life. Um, but you get the gist of what it means, right? So, what I'm saying is, all right, this is also has to do with his own energy. Okay. So, what does that mean? Um, it means that with the Saturn energy, right? That either his own lying or ripping people off or doing something that is not on the up and up, he's going to have to deal with that. It also potentially could mean that in some way somebody is trying to rip him off or do something underhanded to him. in some type of way. Um, one, during the month of May, but two, also having to do with Jack energy, the possibly with Cassie. We will see as we continue to move forward. Now, if you look at this, his Pluto card is also one of his actual cards. His Pluto card in his birth spread is a Two of Hearts. This means that something in his life changes because of a particular relationship. And when we read the cards, your Pluto card and your result card go hand in hand. They're read together. So his life is changing due to a love relationship or connection with who? With who? The King of Hearts person, Cassie, right? So let's see, in connection with your result card, your relationship status is changing. Making changes within yourself for a relationship or someone you love is possible now. You are making sacrifices for a relationship. See your result card for more information. He is having to make sacrifices right now, whether it was the financial sacrifice of the 30 million or 20 million. I think it was 20 million that they ended up settling on. Um, and what does it say? You are developing emotional power in connection to your Pluto card. Good communication and the power of charm is available to you. You can use these qualities to achieve success in entertainment and in your romantic life. You must change inside of yourself to achieve outward success. This includes learning self control and understanding your emotions. You could be joined by some man of hearts, of the heart suit, in some meaningful way, a friend, family member, or lover. Now, in this particular case, and I may have to go in and change that because it says man of hearts, but really I'm saying a person of hearts, the heart suit, right? Which is Cassie, because she actually is the hearts person. Okay. She actually is the King of Hearts. So, what does that mean? That means in his life spread, he was to be changed in some way by her presence in his life. Now, had he have been on the up and up, and had he have not chosen to do harm to her or whatever, these changes were likely to have been different. They may have physically come out in a positive way, right? Where he, now, let me back up just a little bit as well. Um, for him, looking at the cards, he did change from the relationship with Cassie. There were changes, and we did get to hear about some of those changes with Young Miami, right? Where she was saying in her interview that she could not speak on the relationship with Diddy because she did not have the same experience that Cassie and GINA and maybe Kim Porter or whatever had, um, allegedly, in with Diddy. Why? Well, we'll talk about that in a second too. But I want you to see that these, all the things that he is dealing with now are literally written in the cards. Okay. Um, and you can see that even just from the Pluto card and his result card. Okay. Um, Now let's go to the composite cards. Okay. So if we look at, I'll just put his information back in here. 11, 11 4, 1969. Okay. So you can see three of diamonds, seven of diamonds, and the two of hearts. And this is a smaller version of the other spread we were kind of looking at, but it also shows the karma cards for these cards. Okay. Now, I've done the composite cards. What are composite cards? For those of you who don't know what the composite cards are, composite cards are your birth cards and someone else's birth cards together, create a new energy and create the energy that is exchanged or happens between you and this person is like the result of what happens there. Okay. So let's talk about Diddy and Cassie's composite cards. Okay. And then so let's see. Diddy is a three of diamonds birth card. Cassie is a king of hearts birth card. Their very first card together, composite card, is the three of spades. Okay. And I will show you where you can kind of look up this information as well. So then their second, the seven of diamonds and the king of hearts also equals the seven of spades. And then his third birth card or planetary ruling card and her birth card is the two of, I'm sorry, wrong one. Two of hearts is what I'm looking for. So two of hearts, which is his third planetary ruling card, and her birth card is the two of spades. Okay. So then if you go and you change it and you go look at her planetary ruling card with all of his cards, and we're going to get into this. I'm just showing you where this information came from. So then you've got the two of spades with the two of hearts, three of diamonds with the king, which is his Diddy's birth card, Cassie's planetary ruling card, and you've got the three of clubs. Okay. And then you've got the seven of diamonds, which is Diddy's first planetary ruling card, and Cassie's planetary ruling card is the seven of clubs. Okay. So let's go look at the key themes for these cards. So you've got the three of spades, seven of spades, two of heart or two of clubs, three of clubs, seven of clubs, and the two of spades. Okay. So if you go look at the three of spades, what does this tell us? This is going to tell us about this relationship, how both of them are experiencing the connection. You got crossroads, stress, overloaded with work, luck, gambling, fluctuating values, spiritual attachment, possession, psychic ability, adapt, privacy, intimate, and consistency. Okay. So I think that we can all agree that did Cassie experience some level of luck in the sense of being financially taken care of? Yes. Was she at a crossroads? Yes. Was there some sort of toxicity? That's the spiritual attachment, right? Between the two. Also, was he very possessive with her? And was she also possessive with him? Yes, possession, right? Their second card together is a seven of spades, their second composite card. Faith, accidents, ailments, negativity, spiritual work, karmic rewards, living the good life, materialism, bad habits, trust, guide, mission, uncertainty, and shame. Can we say that from this relationship, was she sick all the time? Did she, there's a lot of negativity. She did live a very good life. They lived a good life together. There was a lot of materialism going on. There were extreme bad habits in this relationship. There were issues having to do with trust. There was a lot of uncertainty, and it has resulted in shame for him and shame for her. Okay. There second or third, I'm sorry, composite card is a two of clubs. The two of clubs, communication, arguments, fights, debates, information exchange, fears, know-it-all, friendship, fear of being alone, foundation, alchemy, evidence, refuge or refugee, fetish, repair, clown. What is this whole thing been talking about? Fetish, a fetish of watching your partner or someone that you are with sleep with other people. That is a fetish, right? So one of their relationship composite cards was feeding into fetishes, but there was arguments, fights, and debates in this relationship. And a lot of this was fear based, right? There were fears in this relationship. When you have the two of clubs composite card, that's usually an energy of two people when it comes to like a relationship, two people who come together, but like there's fighting or arguing over like fear of being alone. It's almost like trying to like hold on to them, wanting them to act or be a certain way. And then look at this evidence, right? So she came with a lot of receipts as far as emails and text messages and videos and pictures of bruising and all of those things. That is what we are seeing play out in the cards because of them coming together. Now it's going to get better than this, guys. Let's talk about the three of clubs. Is their fourth composite card. And it's the writer, artistic ability, indecision, worry, anxiety, negativity, skepticism, entertaining, relationship loss, grief, musical ability, powerful woman, books, repressed sadness, and dependable. What did, for those of you who haven't been following along, before she filed her complaint against Diddy to get this ball even rolling, she was writing a book and she had sent him a few chapters of the book hoping to get his attention. This is all things that she testified to, that she allegedly had done prior to even filing a civil lawsuit against him that they ended up settling out of court, right? The writer, artistic ability. Now, there was a lot of worry, anxiety, and negativity in this relationship because of the indecision, right? This was also shown in her own indecision, not to leave and then not to leave and to come back and all of that. There was a lot of skepticism. There was a lot of grief and relationship loss. This was a musical relationship, or there was obviously musical ability. Music was a big deal, or even how they came to know one another. And you've got repressed sadness. This was something where she was repressing her own feelings, possibly even utilizing opioids, and becoming addicted to those things that she had testified on the stand about because she was repressing her feelings. Um, and then let's talk about, but the three of clubs, we're going to get back to that again. Now, seven of clubs is their fifth composite card, guys. Seven of clubs is the seven of diamonds, which is his planetary ruling card, and her planetary ruling card, the king of diamonds, equals the seven of clubs. Genius, scandal, okay? Scandal, popularity, negativity, slander, pessimism, doubt, positive mantras, faith, humanitarian, curse, stocks, trading, investor, wise, self-hexing, threat, passport, reason, live stream. Okay. What do we see? Now, there's no card that's all bad or all good, right? In the deck, every card has a high and low vibration. In this relationship, a lot of these cards played out in the negative. A lot of the composite cards that they had played out on the negative way, right? So there is scandal surrounding their relationship. And they were a very popular couple. There was a lot of slander, and a lot of negativity, pessimism in their relationship. Okay. Um, when you get to trading, investor, stuff like that, well, if you look at, they did trade something in the end, right? This was also a traded relationship in the sense that she was well taken care of. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, oh my God, she was well taken care of, physically, right? We've had, there were people that testified that she lived in a very lush, lavish lifestyle, like, floor to ceiling glass windows, penthouse type of living, right? Um, but maybe under duress, threats, okay? Um, and then their last composite card is a two of spades. So to have two twos as a composite card, especially two of spades, two of clubs, is really rough for a relationship. Why is it rough? Because these are cards that the the negative aspect of them is rough. Okay. So you've got friendship, brotherly love, life coach, hiding ill feelings for someone, secret cruelties. Okay. Work partnership, hidden abuse, assault, affair, manipulation, joke, objection, help, trouble, detective, closure. Listen, guys, what did they always like claim to just be friends at first, because when they started out, he was in a full-fledged relationship with Kim Porter, right? And she was in a whole nother relationship with another person as well. Um, and one of the big complaints that Cassie had in her testimony was that she wanted more of a romantic connection, commitment, and she felt like in order to have him be with her in that way, to feel that loving, soft version of him, she had to do these freak offs. And so she felt forced in a way to do these freak offs because she wanted his love and affection, and she wanted more than just the friendship aspect of the relationship, right? He also was a life coach for her. She was very young. He was, when they got together, right? So she was learning the industry to a degree from a higher aspect, right? But there was a lot of hidden ill feelings. There were secret cruelties in this relationship. They also had what? A work partnership, but there was hidden abuse, assault. Okay, there were affairs in the relationship. They were cheating on each other all the time, right? And that's also something that was testified to. There was a lot of manipulation. Okay, there was trouble, and it resulted in what? Detectives. It resulted in this being looked into, that leads to what? Cassie gaining closure, the relationship finally having some form of closure. Okay. Now, I want to talk more. We're still holding on to the composite cards, but we're going to also show you how these composite cards have a lot to do with the other people in these connections, right? So let's go look at Kim Porter's cards. She was born on December 15th, 1970. And Kim Porter is a three of diamond, or I'm sorry, three of clubs person. Her birth card is the three of clubs, which is also one of the cards between, one of the composite cards between Cassie and Diddy. It is the writer card. That's why we always hear about Kim Porter was writing a book and all of this. Okay. Um, it was the writer card. So just showing you what how you can see other people in your composite cards. Okay. Now let's look at Gina Han. Gina Han, her birthday is showing up as April 6th. She's an Aries. April 6th, 1992. She is a two of spades, six of spades person. Okay. And what the relationship between Diddy and Cassie, their last composite card was what? The two of spades. Friendship, brotherly love, life coaching, hidden ill feelings about someone. And what did we find out about Cassie and GINA just in general? That in the Cassie testified that the only reason that she ended up leaving Diddy wasn't because of the abuse. It wasn't because of the freak offs. It wasn't because of anything. It was because he kept lying and was still seeing GINA. She that was her reasoning for leaving. Secret cruelties, work partnerships, right? And if you think about it, Cassie and GINA were both the side chick in comparison to Kim Porter. Okay. His relationship with Kim Porter was here. She was family. I'm going to show you this in a second. There was also hidden abuse that GINA talked about in the podcast that she did. Um, Allegedly, he was abusing her as well. And in the testimony of one of the assistants in the trial, he said that he had saw um, Diddy throwing like apples at Gina one time, like assaulting her. Okay. Um, so let's look at Kim Porter, right? So Diddy and Kim, Diddy, remember, he's a three of diamonds birth card, seven of spades planetary ruling card, and a two of hearts planetary ruling card. And Kim is a three of clubs planetary ruling or birth card and five of diamonds planetary ruling card. So let's look at that. Three of clubs, and Diddy is the three of diamonds birth cards. Their first card together is the um, six of spades. Now let's look at the seven of diamonds, the 10 of spades. Okay. Is their second composite card. And the two of hearts is their third composite card, which is the five of clubs. All right. Now let's look at the five of dime. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Let's look at the five of diamonds, which is Kim's planetary ruling card. Okay. Five of diamonds and the three of diamonds is the eight of hearts. Well, the eight of hearts is the player card, so I'll just say that. But we'll look at it. Then the seven of diamonds, which is Diddy's, that's the queen of hearts. That's the mother card right there. Boom. And then let's look at the two of hearts, which is Diddy's second planetary ruling card, which is the seven of diamonds. All right, so let's go talk about this, guys. This is describing the relationship between Diddy and Kim. Then we're going to describe also the relationship composite cards between Kim and Cassie and GINA and Cassie. We'll see that as well. So the first composite card is the six of spades. Now remember, the six of spades is also the card for is GINA's card as well. It's her birth card. Fate. This is the card of fate. Karma. Slow down, stuck, timing, commitment, marriage, health issue, work issue, contract, delays, control, pleasure, match, injury, corruption, prolong, accountable, direction. Okay. Now, they did have a commitment, Kim and Diddy. Okay. This also talks about, look at health issue. What did she pass away of? A health issue. Okay. And people like to speculate, oh, she was healthy, she was this. Her friend literally just went on TMZ or some podcast and was saying that she was there with her weeks before she passed, up until she passed, even after she passed. Her children live with her now, while Diddy is dealing with this trial, and that she really did have a health issue. Okay. Um, so let's look at the Ten of Spades. Workaholic. This is their second composite card between Diddy and Kim. A major breakthrough, success after hard work, pursuing happiness, sensitivity, progress, mistrial, vegan, Republican, conservative, exploit, offensive, incentive. Now, why is this? How would this? Well, part of their issue or part of their relationship, they worked really hard. Diddy was always working, that sort of thing. And it took a lot of hard work to get them for their relationship to get to where it was. They likely, there's been a lot of conversation about things that may have happened in their relationship when they were younger or just starting out. Okay. Um, Their second card is the five of, or I'm sorry, their third card together is a five of clubs. That's the two of hearts and the three of clubs. Secretive, impatient, independent, emotionally sensitive, explosive, transsexual, adventure, debater, conversationalist, overly concerned about money, secret, people pleaser, clingy, proof. Well, we know that there was a lot of secrets in this relationship, and that, as much as they were together, they were not together. He was publicly with someone else after they had like split up or whatever, and known for outbursts, right? Um, but let's look at the fourth card, which is the Eight of Hearts. The player, this is their fourth composite card together, right? Shows the player, the heartbreaker, socialite, massage therapist, the bully, success in work, classism, power couple, battle, cheater, trial, police, vulnerable, fault, imagination, and victory. So he was in their relationship, he was the player, he was the heartbreaker, he was also the socialite, um, and the bully. He had a lot of success in work, and maybe they could have been a power couple. She was a successful model. They had an ideal family, but he didn't want to settle down. You know, he was a cheater, and that's obviously been verified, or at least alleged, uh, in this trial. All right. Um, their fifth card together, the seven of diamonds plus the five of diamonds, is the Queen of Hearts. This is the mother card, guys. She was the mother of his child, the mother of his children, right? One of the things that Cassie testified in this hearing was that she was jealous of Kim Porter, that Kim Porter, even when Cassie and Diddy went public and they're in this relationship, Kim Porter got the holidays. Kim Porter got Christmas and Thanksgiving and all of that with Diddy, and Cassie had to spend those times alone or with her own family. Because why? She was the mother, right? So she was treated differently. Okay. This is the card of motherhood, pregnancy, weight gain, cravings, addictions, laziness, teacher, drugs, socialite, political, Africa, test, enabling, and reliable. Well, when we see enabling, she enabled him to do the things that he did, but she was the reliable person, okay, in this relationship. She was the reliable one, or out of the relationships that he had, right? Seven of diamonds, they had a lot of history together and multiple children. Seven of diamonds is their last card. Now, remember, this is also Diddy's planetary ruling card. but it's also one of their composite cards. Creative, family issues, money conscious, financial challenges, spending money, vengeance and stalking, blame, gossip, vacation, storm, library, biology, entitlement, fearless, affluent, original, and basketball. So, what does that tell us, right? With the seven of diamonds, this is actually the millionaires card. Lots of millionaires in the world, including Beyonce, are seven of diamonds people. And we'll get into that some other time. But um, they had family issues. They were a very creative family, right? They spent a lot of money, and they talk about all the money that was being spent, whatever. Vengeance and stalking. Well, there was a lot of people in this thing that did testify, even in regards to Kim, that he stalked her. He didn't just stalk her. They testified allegedly that he stalked all these different women, but he allegedly stalked Kim. Um, and there was a lot of gossip, even and still is a lot of gossip surrounding their relationship, um, that sort of thing. Okay. He felt entitled to her. All right. But this was a very affluent connection, affluent relationship. So you can kind of see that, right? All right. Give me 1 second. I will be right back. I have to use the bathroom. All right, guys. So let's talk about Diddy's relationship. Let's look at the cards between Diddy and Gina. And we're hopping around a little bit, but it's all going to sort of come together because you're going to get to see how all these cards, everybody connects with everyone else, right? And how one card affects the other. And then we're going to also talk about Cassie um, and her husband and their relationship a little bit as well. Um, so Gina's a two of spades, six of spades, born on, we'll just say four, her birthday is 4/6/1992. Okay. So let's look at the three of diamonds and the two of spades. That equals their first composite card is the five of clubs. Okay. Now the seven of diamonds, which is Diddy's planetary ruling, is the nine of clubs with the two of spades. And then the two of hearts, their third card is the four of spades. Okay. Two of hearts and two of spades. And then let's talk about the six of spades, which is her planetary ruling card. The six of spades and the two of hearts is the eight of spades. And then Diddy's birth card, also the nine of clubs. And then the seven of diamonds and the king of spades is the King of Clubs energy. So let's go back and look at what this means about Diddy and Gina's relationship. All right. Oh, wrong one. Card key themes. Okay. So Diddy and Gina, their first composite card is the Five of Clubs, the Three of Diamonds, and the Two of Spades. Secretive, impatient, independent, emotionally sensitive, explosive, transsexual, adventure, debater, conversationalist, overly concerned about money, secret, people pleaser, clingy, proof. Okay, well, we know that Gina was a secret. She came after Cassie, and the relationship was a secret from Cassie, right? And from a lot of people. Um, so there's likely to have been, and Gina she hasn't testified about this, but she did go on a podcast talking about some of the abuse she allegedly experienced from Diddy. Okay. Um, and there was likely to be a lot of concern, or her relationship with him was likely for her uh financially related. And she was likely to be, a people pleaser in the sense of Diddy. And that can be looked at in the sense that she is also refusing to testify, or is not testifying in this hearing, even though she was originally the third witness. So there's still a sense of wanting to be loyal to that, not wanting to be in the mix of that kind of thing. Let's look at the Nine of Clubs. Now, two of their relationship composite cards, the Nine of Clubs. Guru, graduation, procrastination, passionate about family, family drama, depression, family court, doctors, healers, laziness, mentally inspiring, um, intelligent, chef, tarot, weapon, jury. Okay. I want y'all to understand this. You can see what is going to happen with you based on the composite cards and the cards of the people you attract into your life. Okay. If you look at Cassie and you look at Diddy, and then you look at the women that Diddy was dealing with, it's like all leading up to here, this moment, this time, right? What is he dealing with? A jury. Okay. And we'll talk more about this in just a second. Let's talk about their fourth composite card, the Four of Spades. Stability, fortunate, satisfaction, the kept person, getting what you want in the long run, nursing, deep worry about the future, stuck in a rut, victory, knight, copyright, document, empower, hierarchy, exam. What was she? She was the kept person. But now, by not testifying, she's also doing the keeping to a degree. So look at that. All right. Getting what you want in the long run. She's playing the longer game. Okay. Um, let's see. The King of Clubs is their fifth composite card. Master teacher, mentor, law enforcement, makeup, anger, father figure, recognition for your knowledge, chef, abusive, attractive women, sensory pleasures, food, sex, drugs, witty banter, conceited, selfish, data. So when you attract someone into your life in the cards, and you have composite cards, that new energy that is created by you coming together with someone else, the energy has to play out. And it plays out sometimes in a lot of these ways, sometimes only in like one or two ways, right? So, but what does this tell us? This tells us that he was likely a very big teacher to her. She was born in the 90s. She's younger than um she's younger than Cassie is. Okay. So he definitely was a teacher for her, a mentor, so to speak. But look at this. Also, that energy plays out in law enforcement, right? And it may not have anything to do with her, like calling the police or doing whatever, but just by them coming together, that energy now becomes in his field of energy, right? And I'm going to bring this full circle when it comes to Cassie, because remember, the reason Cassie left was because of his relationship with Gina. Okay. Um, Anger, father figure. Okay. Recognition for your knowledge. I'm 100% sure if I was a betting person, that she ogled over him in a lot of ways, like made him feel really good and very powerful, right? She was extremely attractive. Um, and what was going on? Sensory pleasures like food, sex, and drugs. Okay. Now, their last composite card together is the Eight of Spades. The Eight of Spades is physical exercise, gym, working out, overcoming obstacles with willpower, success, power, bullying, material fulfillment, liability, and celebrity. Okay. What was this? This was a celebrity that she was dealing with, right? Who provided material fulfillment. There was bullying going on. It's likely they did a lot of physical exercise. If it wasn't physical exercise, it may have been sexual exercise, that sort of thing, in their relationship. Okay. Their relationship has still been going on. Remember that Gina, do you remember when Gina and Young Miami were having issues, going back and forth on Twitter, okay, with one another, because he had taken pictures and she posted pictures with Diddy on her social media accounts when he was allegedly with Young Miami. And so they had some type of issue, but she had been with him for years and never his like public main girl or whatever. But that's the staying power of the Eight of Spades, you know. So let's talk about Cassie and Kim's composite cards. Okay. And then we'll get into Cassie and Gina, and then Cassie and Alex. So I'm going at it in a way where you guys can see this from multiple perspectives, and then we're going to get into how all these cards come together. Okay. So Cassie and Kim, we know Cassie's birthday. And what's interesting to me, I was looking for Capricorn Clark's birthday, right? Because initially I'm like, she a Capricorn, her name is Capricorn. She's actually a Virgo. And I don't know when her birthday is emphatically, but I know that she celebrated her birthday on Cassie's birthday in 2010. There was a thing where they were celebrating at it was a big picture of her and like celebrating on 8/26, when 8/26 is also Cassie's birthday. So if they share the same birthday, which I would love to find out, if anybody can find out or knows anything about this, that'd be great. But um so this is Cassie's, right? And I also want y'all to see, if you look down here, the card of a place or a thing, if you look at love, the word spelled out, which we all know Diddy originally changed his name to Love, right? And his daughter, his youngest daughter that was just born, she's like 3 or 4 years old. Her name is also Love, is a Two of Hearts. And that is Diddy's third planetary, or I'm sorry, second planetary ruling card, his third card. So look, that makes so much sense as to why he had calmed down a lot later in his life. He was living, still doing drugs allegedly, but he had calmed down a lot, and we had seen, where Young Miami is like, "Oh, I didn't have that same experience as all these other women." Well, he was in his love era, right? So, of course, she wouldn't, because he was resonating more with his two of hearts energy, love, right? So, let's talk about Cassie and Kim. So, Cassie being the king of hearts and Kim being the three of clubs. Their first card is what? The three of diamonds. Who is the three of diamonds but Diddy? So, what does that show us? That, like, when you have a third party relationship with someone and there's three people, that person's birthday, you can pull up their birth cards. You can see your connection to that person and why you guys are even in each other's energy. And you're in each other's energy. These two people, Cassie being the king of hearts and Diddy being the Kim being the three of clubs, they're in this energy, in this connection because of who? Diddy, the three of diamonds. Okay. So the three of diamonds is their very first composite card. Makes sense. That's both of their birth cards. Let's uh, see what the five of diamonds, which is Kim's um, planetary ruling card. The five of spades. Okay. Now let's take a look at Cassie's planetary ruling card with the five of diamonds, the five of clubs. Okay, well, what about the three of clubs, which is Kim's birth card, the three of hearts? Okay, well, let's talk about what that is. Card key themes. Okay, the first card together, let's look at, this is the card for Diddy, but this is their Kim and Cassie's first composite card: financial creativity, financial worries, multiple businesses, celebrity, anxiety, entertainment projects, right? Film, currency, mogul, bully, short patience, temptation, settlement, evolution, suppress, gang, style. Okay. Now, both of these women were models, Cassie and Kim. So you got style, which is interesting, right? Um, both of them were celebrities. Both of them did entertainment projects. I know for a fact Cassie did film. I'm not really 100% sure about Kim, okay? But you were dealing with a mogul, right? The three of diamonds being Diddy's card, his birth card. He was what? A mogul. He was also a bully with what? Short patience, okay? Who also was lived under a lot of temptation, okay? Okay. Five of spades is their second. Oh, wrong one. Five of spades is their second composite card between Cassie and Kim. Driving, sudden changes, traveling, stalking, military, cyberbullying, paying off debt, violent ending, depression, completion of a job, destiny, hope, karma, space, tension, interweb, destruction, mask. Okay, so between the two of them, I would say obviously the stalking energy played out because in the testimony of Cassie, she was talking about how she was jealous of Kim and that he would go be with her. And she wanted to be number one, and she would, he would be spending holidays with them and stuff like that. So I'm sure that there was, if you've ever been like, there was like another woman involved, they had kids together or whatever, and he had to go over there. I'm sure you're like trying to see what's going on, talking to friends about, hey, what's going on over there? What's the relationship like? Whatever the case may be. So in that way, I feel like I could see that playing out that way. Um, depression. This was something that she struggled with because he was with Cassie struggled with because he was with her. I'm sure that Kim also probably struggled with this in regards to Cassie as well, right? Um, but this was a part of their destiny by even coming together. Okay. Um, then you've got the Three of Hearts, which is the big one, right? Look at this. Multiple children. Okay. And what? Third party relationship, affair, emotional immaturity, bisexuality, interracial relationships. Listen, so what is Cassie? Cassie is like, I don't want to say Asian. I forgot, Filipino. And I think she's like Filipino and black. And she has something else. I forgot what her father is. But I think it's like German or something. I don't quote me. Um, and how did she meet Diddy or get with Diddy? She was the side chick originally. She was the third party in that relationship. Okay. Um, so, and what did we, there was multiple children that were involved in this relationship between Cassie and Diddy. So kids were an issue. There was a third party relationship. There were affairs between Cassie and Diddy and Kim and Diddy. This was all like, there was a lot of emotional immaturity. Okay. I don't know about the bisexuality, but the bisexuality it could be considered bisexual to watch a man sleep with your woman and that do something to you, but that is all. I mean, I don't know. I won't speculate. But this was Cassie and Diddy was an interracial relationship, and that was something obviously that also affected Kim. Um, Not the interracial part, but just the fact that it was another relationship, right? That she was affected by. Uh, Now you've got exonerate, treasure, validation, and custody. Well, Kim had custody of those kids, so that was also a reason why um, he spent one of the reasons that he would give Cassie that he spent so much time with Kim is because she had custody of his kids, right? Okay. Now, so you're seeing these different cards and different dynamics, and hopefully this is making sense to you or you're finding it interesting. Now, let's talk about Cassie and Gina. Okay. Let's go to the composite cards and discuss Cassie and Gina. So we know Cassie is a King of Hearts birth card, King of Diamonds planetary ruling card. And Gina is a Two of Spades, Six of Spades. Okay. Um, so, all right. So let's look at the composite cards between Cassie being the King of Hearts and Gina being the Two of Spades. Okay. The first composite card between Cassie and Gina is the Two of Hearts. Okay. The second composite card is the Six of Hearts. Their third composite card with the King of Diamonds and the Six of Spades is a Six of Diamonds. And the Six of Diamonds and the Two of Spades is a Two of Diamonds. So let's go talk about what these mean. So card key themes. So the Two of Hearts. This is Gina and Cassie. Their first composite card, union, romantic couple, marriage, curiosity, a need for security. Power couple, needing to take it slow in a relationship, accusation, love, and basketball. That's interesting, right? Need for security. I want to write need for security. accusation. These are things that Cassie felt, and I'm sure Gina also felt in the relationship with Diddy because of the other woman, right? There was a need for security. There was accusations. You're cheating on me with her. You never left her. I thought you left her alone. Da 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 da. Right? But what does this also mean, right? Two of hearts, when you have two people that are not connected to one another, like don't feel drawn to one another, right? But they're affecting each other's lives. What is that telling you? That one or both of them, this is likely going to bring about one or both of them some sort of change. Okay. And a change in what way? Change in love, change in romance. At some point, okay? Likely because of one another or because of the effect of one another. Their second card, and I'm gonna go into what happened right after she left Diddy. Okay, so Cassie, meaning Cassie left Diddy. Their second composite card is the Six of Hearts. Karmic relationships, past life relationships, lessons in love, reunion, spiritual initiation, competition. Listen, competition, jealousy, envy, forced compromises, power struggle. Okay. This is her arch nemesis when it comes to the man that they both love. This was who she felt like she was in competition with, jealousy, having to make these compromises for. There were power struggles between her, Cassie, and Gina, and Cassie and Diddy, and probably Gina and Diddy, right? Um, because and also if you look, imitation, they all if you look at both of them, listen, they look just like one another. Okay. They look like they could be sisters. All right. And that likely created a lot of jealousy or competition and envy in this relationship with one another. Okay. This was a karmic connection between the two of them, meant to teach them lessons in love. All right. They likely had some sort of past life together where they were probably, enemies and couldn't play that out. And have in this lifetime, they're playing that out. Um, so then the two of diamonds is their third composite card. Meetings, roommate, business partnership, coach, contract, project manager, magician, spiritual victory, juggler. Okay. Astrology, weather, journalism, expectation, appearance. Okay. So in my mind, when I see this, I'm like, oh, well, this was likely from this perspective, from what we know now, this was likely something where one of them was being told, oh, we just work together. Oh, I'm helping this girl do this or whatever. That's what we see when we coach, contract, business partnership, that sort of thing. And really, they were kind of tag team partners in the relationship because they were both getting their ass whooped allegedly. They were both with the same person for years, right? Um, so, and we see that playing out in that way. Now, their last composite card is the Six of Diamonds: honesty, integrity, competition. Again, credit, debt, retirement, slow down in work, taxes, social work, competitive sports, reaping what you sow. Also, lawyer, betrayal, profit, mindset. Okay. Reaping what you sow. So, honestly, when all of this was meant to come out for Cassie, meant to find out about Gina when she did that, the relationship didn't end, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and there was competition in the connection between Gina and Cassie. And this was talked about in the hearing. But again, by their even coming together, there will be a reaping of what is sown. Now, the six of diamonds. Now, why would this be an issue for Diddy? Well, because you're the reason that those two people are in each other's energy at all. Well, if you're the reason that those two people are in each other's energy at all and you are not honest, you are not acting with integrity, you are creating competition and conflict and whatever, right? And the six of diamonds is involved, you will reap what you sow. Okay, let's talk about, well, I'm going to get to Alex and Cassie in a moment, right? But I want to go back to Diddy. Matter of fact, I want to go here. I want to go back to, now you can also look up the relationship cards. Let's do that. Let's look up Diddy, who is in the relationship cards, 11, 4, 69. And Cassie, 08, 26, 1986. So you can see his cards, right? And it'll give you like the description of every card. Let's read the description. The people of this card tend to make sacrifices for those they care about, sometimes bordering the line of people pleasing. They often have an underlying fear of abandonment. This causes insecurity within them, and this may cause them to be avoidant of titles when it comes to romantic relationships. Many lovers and affairs are possible. Now, this is Diddy's birth card. Okay. His planetary ruling card, with the seven of diamonds person, partnerships and romantic relationships tend to be a challenge. They have a strong sense of responsibility to helping others and may even stay in relationships longer than they should due to their sense of obligation. They are likely to have more than one karmic relationship in their lifetime that challenges them to level up. They tend to have a high expectation of their partners, and this can lead them to major disappointments in relationships when their partner is unable or unwilling to live up to those expectations. Again, these are Diddy's cards, guys. The two of hearts. In relationships, the two of hearts person does not like to be alone. They will often settle for less rather than being alone. However, in rare circumstances, they will make the choice to be alone when they have experienced severe pain and disappointment due to failed relationships or betrayal. Their life lessons tend to be learning how to be vulnerable to love, but not at the expense of their mind. Being able to balance and reconcile the two are important for the two of hearts. Otherwise, they will have a slew of love lessons with unhealthy relationships that may turn them cynical towards romance, even though that is what they desperately want out of life. Okay. And we can see that if you know all about the Diddy stuff, you know. So then we could look at Cassie's cards. The King of Hearts is the father card, which also tells me just her being a double king. Let me explain this to y'all. So her being born a double king, and she's a woman, as much as we see her as someone that is beautiful and vulnerable and fragile, she has a masculine energy. And that was also shown when the prosecution brought up the voice recording of her threatening the person, her, I think it was her friend, when she was threatening him, saying that she would off him about the videos. So you got to see a different version of who she was. Um, and that, not to say that she's not gentle um, or any of those things, but I want to talk about like the fact that she is a woman with king energy. She is a leader in her own right. and she has a lot of masculine energy, whether we are able to see that or not. Okay. It's like someone having multiple, like a different personality, right? There's like a switch. Okay. It says in relationships, the King of Hearts is often a player. They tend to make excellent parents and devoted family members when they are vibrating at a high frequency, but they often do not make the healthiest relationship partners. The women of this card are emotionally powerful and able to hold their own where men dominate. They're often in touch with the more masculine side of themselves, and it may be difficult for them to find a long term romantic partner that they do not dominate. The men of this card, that doesn't even matter. These people are here to inspire others and set an example of what unconditional love really is. This is the first unconditional love of self and others. So it's saying that they're here to set an example of unconditional love and what that really means. But unconditional love must be given to self first. If they become too self absorbed, immature, and avoidant of their responsibilities, they will not reach their potential in this lifetime. Okay. Which does say a lot. Let's look at, first of all, the key themes: fatherhood, passionate about family, moody, entertainer, successful, loved, the man of your dreams, temper, bully, lover of sports, performer, music, bragging, publicity, rejoice, humility, micromanager. Now, even if you are not all of those things, you usually tend to attract people like that into your life, right? Key things, right? So she liked, when she was younger, Diddy was not the only person that she dated that was much older than her. The guy that she was with prior to dating Diddy, when she was cheating on him, he was like 11 years older than her. So she dated men that were a lot older than her, even before Diddy. So Diddy was another, I think they were 17 years apart. The other guy was like 11 years older than her or something, when she was like 19-ish, I guess. Um, but I also will say, remember, now we were talking about the personality cards, right? Even though she is a King of Hearts, born a King of Hearts, she would still have a Jack of Hearts personality card and a Queen of Hearts personality card. Okay. The motherhood card, the ability to act as a mother, right? Um, let's talk about her King of Diamonds energy. The King of Diamonds, this is her planetary ruling card. In relationships, the King of Diamonds person tends to view marriage as a business deal. They're often attracted to clever and intelligent people. Those that spend a lot of time working often find themselves dating someone they work with or have shared business interests with, although this is likely not a good idea. The women of this card operate in their masculine energy and desire to be seen as an equal to men. So it takes a confident man to pursue a King of Diamonds woman. In order to have a healthy long-term relationship, they have to learn to be vulnerable and honest with their partner. The key themes: business person with creativity, controlling lover, a sexual person, dream home, wealthy person, a music producer, social media, apology, arena, vanity, purchase and qualify. So Cassie was what? Obviously, we know that she was a sexual person. And whether you believe that she was forced into these freak offs or not forced into these freak offs, the fact that she had sex with hundreds, like she literally said, hundreds in the trial of people, and she was down to do these freak offs, we could see her King of Diamonds energy playing out. Now, look at in the relationship cards. This shows you a better view of the composite cards, guys. So these are the composite cards, right? For every card together. Okay, so here you see the composite cards. Boom, you see the composite cards. This card plus this card equals this card, right? And then it will show you sort of the as a composite card in the relationship. It says this is their first composite card. As a composite card in this relationship, this can be a difficult relationship where there is indecision and stress. You and this person may feel drawn to one another in some spiritual way or even possessive of one another or the relationship. This is a relationship that requires a lot of hard work, but if the work is put in by each person with determination and consistency, this relationship can be successful. Physical affection would likely be an important part of this relationship if this is a romantic connection. Physical affection. And she talked about that in her testimony. All right, their second composite card, Seven of Clubs. As a relationship composite card, this card often represents a relationship marked by scandal and backbiting. There can be a lot of negativity in this relationship, and the faith of one or both parties can be tested by this connection. There is often doubt of the relationship of the partner. However, on the positive side, this relationship may be one that is popular amongst a group of people, hopefully in a good way, but is up to the two people that is engaging in this connection. By giving back to each other and maintaining a positive attitude, you will achieve the most from this connection. In a business relationship, there may be investing in financial stocks or other resources that may be lucrative or of value, but you must make sure that you are always on the up and up. Okay. Okay. Third composite card, Three of Clubs, the writer card. Uh, as a composite card, this relationship may be one filled with a lot of communication and creativity. It may be one where there is a lot of indecision on one or both parties, which can create worries, anxiety, or negativity. By coming together, this may be a relationship that is very entertaining. However, there is a possibility of relationship grief or loss to be dealt. I wrote that wrong. or to be dealt with from this connection. This relationship benefits from mental stimulation and shared knowledge. Seven of Spades. In this relationship, they are often attracted to those who do well for themselves financially or have some kind of power. However, they should not put so much of an emphasis on money and power because it is a recipe for disaster for the Seven of Spades person as they are a highly spiritual card. So what does that mean? That this was likely a relationship where Cassie was attracting and attracted to the power and financial status of Diddy. And we can see that. That's not anything new. Their continued fear, even when they have reached the top of the mountain, can cause issues in romantic relationships. This stress they put on themselves will affect their health if they are not careful. Listen, what did we know or did we learn about Cassie and Diddy? Well, she testified that she began doing drugs a lot more frequently and etc. Um, because of the relationship with Diddy. And listen, what does it say? Their continued fear, even when they have reached the top of the mountain, can cause issues in romantic relationships. The stress they put on themselves will affect their health if they are not careful. And we've seen her health being affected. The Two of Clubs. In relationships, the Two of Clubs person holds issue with being alone. And this may cause them to maintain a codependent connection that they stay attached to far beyond their expiration date. However, if the Two of Clubs person has a high vibrational frequency and learns to overcome their fears, they can maintain a happy and healthy, lasting relationship. But let's look at the composite part. As a composite card, this relationship may be one that requires sharp communication skills because if a lack of understanding is there may easily be many arguments and fights within this connection. One or both of the individuals may experience fear of loneliness, which can create a codependent connection here. Look to each life path spread to see the planetary position that this card sits in. And then the last card is a two of spades. As a composite card, this relationship may have a strong friendship basis. However, they must be careful of not becoming friends based on having a common enemy, because this connection can easily become one where bullying and manipulation can become the basis. What do we know about Cassie and Diddy? Bullying and manipulation, right? On the high side, this relationship may benefit from a therapist or a life coach. Look to each other's life path to see where the position sits. Okay. So this is Diddy's spread. These are where the cards, not just Cassie's cards, but also the relationship composite cards fall in Diddy's spread. Okay. So he has a seven of clubs in Mars. The seven of clubs is scandal, backbiting, right? That is their second composite card. And it's in Mars. What is the Mars connection? You can click on it. Mars connection. Mars is the planet of war in astrology, and it governs our expression of passion and aggression. When we have a Mars connection in terms of a relationship, it stimulates passion and aggression in the connection. And much care must be used when dealing with this influence over a relationship to keep it from manifesting in a negative explosion of to the detriment of the connection. On the upside, the Mars connection is necessary to keep the passion and excitement alive in a relationship. On the downside, this connection can stimulate anger and frustration amongst the person on the receiving end of this influence. If both parties are Mars to each other, then both parties stimulate and feel this energy towards each other. Mars can stimulate lust and sexual desire for one another, or competitiveness, frustration, and jealousy. And just how it is used along with the other connections will determine the likelihood of having a lasting positive or negative relationship. Okay. So in his birth card spread, he has the seven of clubs there. Look at that. That is scandal, popularity, negativity, slander, pessimism, doubt, like curse, whatever. Those things, right? As much as they are blessings to him, because it could be the popularity of becoming this big mogul, whatever, right? And their relationship was public, and even more so public to than his relationship with Kim. Like Kim was more private, whatever, whereas Cassie was an artist, and therefore, and she was under Bad Boy. So there was that showing of the relationship and going to the Met Gala and these different events that we were able to see more than we were able to see his relationship with Kim. But it was a Mars connection. Okay. The result card, we talked about this as a relationship. Well, this isn't a relationship composite card. This is just saying, showing um, the result was Cassie, right? And then she was also his cosmic lesson card, right? And we haven't really talked too much about the cosmic lesson, but if you click on it, the cosmic lesson connection, relationships with someone that you have a cosmic lesson connection with often depend on our mindset and serve as a reminder to us of our real goals in life. Just the presence of our cosmic lesson person in our life tends to remind us of what we truly believe is important. Now, if we have a mindset where we have given up on certain goals, a cosmic lesson relationship may be difficult and can cause the person receiving the energy to feel threatened or defensive. But in the right mindset, they will retake their power and feel inspired by this connection. Being a higher octave of Saturn, we must be willing to accept accountability and responsibility in this relationship in order for it to work out. Guys, so what was his cosmic lesson? First of all, let's just talk about what the King of Diamonds is. It is the businessman, the business owner. Look at it, right? The business owner, his cosmic lesson. And we're not just seeing that yes, we're talking about Cassie and Diddy and the abuse and whatever and the relationships between each other. But you got to think, first of all, what is Saturn? Saturn is responsibility, restriction, all the things, right? For the of diamonds person, the biggest lesson in their life is how they, especially if they have become the business owner, right? It can be on the high side, the best thing that ever happened to you from all the struggle and all the hard work that you put in. But Saturn is Saturn. Saturn is the father planet. It is the planet of karma. So the person who is our cosmic lesson, or if there's a cosmic lesson relationship, or someone has a cosmic lesson card or whatever, right? We owe a responsibility to them. And if we give them that in a positive way and we react positively and take on those things with integrity, we are blessed with whatever that card is. In this case, it would be business ownership, it would be creative financial endeavors, all the things, right? However, in this hearing, we're not just seeing, it's not just this is not a DV case. You can't have a RICO DV case, right? This is a RICO case about his businesses, all right? That he was using business for pleasure and doing so, with prostitution and all the things. So his cosmic lesson is being the boss, but not being a good boss. Okay? Being a boss, but not being a good boss. His cosmic lesson is being a sexual person, that business with being creative, being a controlling lover. Okay? Being a wealthy person. All these people have been coming to him now, like I want money for this. I want, you got people coming out of the woodworks, whether they're accurate and truthful in their statements or not. A lot of this is happening because he was not the best business person, right? He wasn't maybe a good person to work for in certain aspects. And so these people are coming back around and they're like, wait a minute, you did this to me? Okay, boom. I smell blood in the water, right? But this was his cosmic lesson to apologize or owe an apology, okay, um, to these people because he was not a good person in business. Okay. Now it's almost like the three of diamonds when they have power and they have influence and they have money. If they did not get it with integrity, if they did not act with integrity and they were, they acted in a way that was not good, so to speak, they will get their karma for that. Okay. Now let's go down. His planetary ruling spread. So his seven of diamonds spread, right? First planetary ruling card. He has the king of diamonds in Uranus and the king of diamonds in Neptune. Uranus is friendships, networking, online. It is futuristic, right? Neptune has a secretive energy to it. Neptune has an illusionary energy to it. It is also isolating, okay? Neptune governs spiritualism, sacrifice, confusion, and that explains why Neptune connections tend to feel faded in some way, and they are the most difficult to fully let go of once they run their course. What did he say on the podcast on Carisha Please? He said, I had a really hard time letting her go. Referring to Cassie allegedly. I had a really hard time letting her go. The issue with Neptunian relationships are that they tend to be a veil of illusion over the person or the relationship where one person is self-sacrificing and cause frustration when they feel they aren't getting their needs met. If this is a mutual connection, both parties are giving and receiving this energy. Well, who is the king of diamonds but Cassie? So there is a Uranus energy to this, doing shit. You know, Uranus, think of Aquarian energy, like doing shit, even the recording of the freak offs and all of that, right? Let's look at not this. Let's look at what Uranus connection. The Uranus connection is often associated with the unexpected friendship or freedom. This is a connection where you're likely friends with someone on a core level, and maybe other people don't understand how or why. This is a relationship that is unique and allows for one or both people, depending on if this is a mutually shared connection or not, are able to be themselves and maintain some level of freedom from certain expectations. To have a Uranus connection in the romantic relationship shows that freedom is necessary for the relationship to work. For example, if one person is Uranus to the other in a marriage, it is likely that that person who is the one on the receiving end of the Uranus energy must let go or make sacrifices for the relationship in order to allow the other person to maintain some independence. So what happened? Cassie was having to, this was a friendship for Diddy in a lot of ways. He loved her and they had like the underlying relationship was friendship, right? There needed to be distance there. There needed to be something with no expectations where he felt like he could be his real self with her in a way that he couldn't be with other people, right? So, and then with Neptune, that's secrets, hidden, illusionary, right? Now, Mercury, his third um planetary ruling card, or his second planetary ruling card, his third card. He's got the King of Hearts and Mercury. So there was likely to be a lot of communication between him and Cassie, right? This is also talks as to, remember I said Mercury is when you're young, like your younger ages. This is also why there was an interest in Cassie when she was younger, right? And his Venus card is also Cassie's planetary ruling card, right? Mercury and Venus. So he did love her. I could tell you that. He did value and love her in a lot of ways. Let's talk about it. The Mercury connection. Mercury is the planet of communication, ruling over creative Gemini and analytical Virgo, third and sixth houses. When we have a Mercury connection with someone, we tend to have strong intellectual communication with that person. They tend to take up a lot of our thought space. There can be siblings in the relationship here or childhood connections. This relationship is likely to be one that stimulates the mind, helps organize your life in some way, or one where there may be creative ideas shared. Gossip and judgments are also possible. These relationships often develop quickly, but may not be everlasting, or could yo yo in and out, on and off over the course of time, and eventually fizzle out unless other connections that are present dictate otherwise. What do we know about Cassie and Diddy? Over 10 years, they were on and off, on and off, on and off. He was cheating, she was cheating, on and off, right? Now let's look at the Venus connection for him. Venus connections. Venus is the third planet. Venus is the planet of love and values, as it rules over the second house of possessions and the seventh house of relationships in astrology. So this connection plays a key role in terms of harmonious relationships. Venus connections guarantee a certain amount of compatibility in the relationships of any kind. If this is a mutual connection shared between two people, they are both sharing in this influence and are considered Venus to each other. If one person is stimulating the Venus influence towards the other person, the Venus influence on that person feeling the Venus energy is very strong and will impact the relationship. However, the person stimulating the Venus influence will be less impacted because the Venus influence does not directly affect them on a cosmic level. Both of these influences are increased if these connections are found in the spiritual spread, as well as indicated in as it indicates a past life love and bond with one another that was already created and can therefore manifest in the mundane world, like a love at first sight type of energy. This gives a strong foundation to a relationship because we usually find that trust and respect for one another is established in a way that both people likely even can't even explain from the very start of the relationship. So he feels that with her. Let's see if she felt that with him. These are her connections. So you see, he's got her all over all three spreads. She's she has him in her moon position. He is her moon card. She is not his moon card. She is Mars. She's the cosmic lesson, the result, the Uranus, the Mercury, the Venus, whatever, but she is not a moon card to him. Okay. Let's look at what the moon card means. Moon connections show up when two cards sit directly next to one another in the life spread or the spiritual spread. This card on the right is the moon card, and the sun card is on the left. In the life spread, we can see that the ace of spades and three of diamonds sit next to each other. Interesting that that's even in here. In the ace of spades is the moon card to the three of diamonds. And guess who is an ace of spades? I will say three of diamonds is Diddy's personality card, or Diddy's birth card. The ace of spades is who? Young Miami. But we'll get into that later. So three of diamonds sits directly next to the sequence of cards. This indicates that the three of diamonds is the moon card to the ace of spades in the spread. However, the ace of spades is not the moon card to the three of diamonds. If we look at the spiritual spread and find the ace of spades, we can see that the moon card is the king of diamonds. So every card will have two moon cards, one in each spread. So what does that mean? Okay, well, we know Young Miami is an ace of spades person, meaning that why she was so overly in love with Diddy, because that is her moon card. Diddy is her moon card. All right. But the personality card of Diddy is the king of diamonds, which also is the king of diamonds and the king of hearts. Remember, we talked about personality cards, right? Every person has them. So these people, when you attract them into your life, show you what you can be on a positive level and what you can ascend to if you choose to exercise the energy in a more positive way. But if one or both parties chooses to exercise it in a negative way, you will get to that result. The result will happen, right? Just not in the way, because she is effectively making Diddy, by Cassie just being in his life and all those negative things happening and now coming back around. This is showing him that he had to grow the fuck up. He didn't have a choice. He had to grow up, right? Um, in order to be this king of diamonds and king of hearts that Cassie already is naturally by birth. So she was his moon card. He was her Cassie's moon card. The And this is the card of relationships. Let's click on it and go down. This is the card of union, romantic couple, marriage. She wanted to, she talked about wanting to marry him, wanting to be in a serious, committed relationship with him. That's all she really wanted. And she thought that he was it. So she stayed for a long time. His in her planetary ruling card, he is her Mercury card. The relationship, right, is her first karma card and her second one. Now let's talk about this. Okay. First karma card. The first karma card represents a person, place, or thing that we must give a lot of ourselves to. A debt may be paid to us by the person, place, or thing represented by this card, and they may reflect us in some way. The karma card also represents past life traits that we will have to make progress to refine upon in this lifetime. As a composite card in this position, This is a relationship that we give a lot of ourselves to and sacrifice a lot for. The person who has this card in their spread will feel the effects of this connection the most. So we give a lot of ourselves to this person. Who is this? For Cassie, the three of clubs is also whose birth card? Kim's. So what was Cassie doing? Making a lot of sacrifices for Kim, giving a lot of whatever for Kim. Cassie was ultimately fulfilling a sexual role that Kim didn't have to do, that we know of, right? Allegedly. Kim didn't, Cassie was giving the freak offs and doing the freak offs and all of this that Kim, either didn't have to do as much or didn't have, that because Cassie fulfilled that need, right? And these other, potentially Gina, we don't know if Gina, there's been nothing that said that Gina had to do freak offs or whatever, but so this shows that karmically Cassie was giving something to this. I honestly believe that she will continue to write a book about this situation, or there at least will be maybe a something going on with that at some point. Um, and then the second karma card. The second karma card represents a person, place, or thing that owes something to us and reflects something. We reflect something back to them in some way. Replacement cards have a strong influence on each card and add another layer to our personalities. As a composite card relationship in this position, it is likely that we benefit from this relationship in some way, and much is given to us as a result of this relationship. Listen, so what is given to Cassie? So something from the seven of spades is given to Cassie as a result of the seven of spades. Let's look at it. Seven of spades. Let's go down and just, what is this? Accidents, ailments, negativity, spiritual work, karmic rewards, living the good life, materialism, bad habits, trust, guide, mission, uncertainty, and shame. From her dealing with the negativity and all of that, she has received some sort of reward, cosmic benefit of being able to live the good life after suing Diddy and getting financially $20 million from Diddy, and then suing the Intercontinental and getting a reward of $10 million, settling with them for $10 million. She had $30 million from this experience. This shows us this shame that she may feel and have carried also brings karmic rewards because she has done some spiritual work on herself, and her faith and trust has guided her. This was a mission for her in her life. You can see it in the cards. Okay. And you can do that with any relationship. We could look at, if you wanted to change it from Diddy to Kim, and we could see where Kim Porter, 12/15/1970, we changed the cards, right? Now the cards down here change. Okay. Oh, for whatever reason, when you change it and there's a third card there, it will still bring it up. I have to fix that. So let me go out of this and then come back in. I don't know why it does that. It kind of gets stuck and won't change it. But let's say, okay, so let's do Kim. And hers is 12/15/1970. And Cassie is 8/26/1986. And then you can see the cards. Boom. Three of diamonds, five of spades. Boom. So in Kim, look at that. The second karma card. What do we say? a composite card relationship in this position, it is likely that we benefit from this relationship in some way, and much is given to us as a result of this relationship. Not only is the King of Diamonds Diddy's personality card, right? So she benefited financially from Diddy. She also benefited the from Cassie. Okay. And if you look, this was also her karm in her planetary ruling card. Cassie's planetary ruling card was also her karmic cousin. As a composite relationship card in this position, it is likely that we benefit from this relationship in some way, and much is given to us as a result of this relationship. And there we have it. And she was the Mars card. The Mars card to Cassie was or the relationship to Cassie was the Mars card. Maybe she was also doing some stalking there, Kim. Now you look at Cassie's and Venus, right? So in as far as like relationships was concerned, this was a relationship, a third party relationship. And there was a lot of negativity, pessimism, what have you. Cassie gave something to Kim. Karma card 1 and karmic cousin, the first karmic cousin. Okay. So and remember, the first karmic cousin, the first karmic card, we give to them. Second one, or I'm sorry, um, the first karmic card, this is a relationship that we give a lot of ourselves and sacrifice a lot for. Okay. This is a relationship that we give a lot of ourselves to and sacrifice a lot for. So she was the giver to the relationship with Kim. Um, and then we could even do Gina. Let's look at that one. That's an interesting one to me. Now you see the cards have changed. For Gina, Gina benefited from the competition and the connection with Cassie. But there was something here she gave a lot to. Look at that, because it was her first karmic cousin card. So this is a relationship that we give a lot of ourselves to or sacrifice a lot for. She had to sacrifice a lot for. And what is it? The man, the ideal man or whatever. Gina did a lot of sacrificing for that connection and uh for Cassie. Now look at Cassie's influence when it comes to Gina. The Two of Hearts, which is Diddy's card, right? That's her moon card. Like that's where you have the illusion, like we're gonna be, she also likely was like, had this idea like you love her more than me, that type of thing when it comes to the Two of Hearts being in the moon position, right? Um, Venus with the Six of Hearts, Jupiter with the Two of Diamonds, that the contract, the living situation, the business aspect of things. This created her relationship connection to Gina is ultimately what led her to being in the financial position that she's in currently. All right. And some people can think, oh, she deserved that, she earned that, whatever, from all of the things that she endured. But let me tell you one of the things, and we can go look at um, the cards for the relationship cards, or not relationship, I'm sorry, the life spread cards for Cassie. And this is why I'm going to tell you my personal belief system is that, yes, she was young. Yes, she Yes, she was young. Yes, she deserve to be abused in any way? Absolutely not. Does he deserve jail time for that? Yes, I believe so. Does But did he get her addicted to anything? Do I believe that? Absolutely not. Because she has an addictive personality. Let's talk about it. The king of clubs, the king of hearts, or I'm sorry, king of hearts. The king of hearts card is known to be the highest card of unconditional love, much like the love of a father. These people are charismatic, compassionate, and devoted parents. They often have to make sacrifices in the name of responsibility they have taken on. The King of Hearts is moody yet friendly and make great entertainers. They often come with a great sense of humor. They're naturally talented, often in music, film, or creative pursuits. They can carry their own and relate to people from many different walks of life. They are wise. They're often wise with life experience and have high moral principles. For this reason, they can be quick to judge the character of others. They are devoted to their friends and family, but should always watch the company they keep. Low vibrational friendships and associations will drag them down. They're, these people are genuine, blunt, and love to learn new things. They should be careful not to be so easily frustrated and argumentative. Their quick tempers can cause unnecessary conflict for them, but they do tend to fare well or have some kind of luck in legal matters. Huh? The King of Hearts considers you, if the King of Hearts considers you as family, there is usually no limit to what they will do for you. However, this king does suffer from some significant losses of relationships with loved ones in their lifetime. Their unconditional love for people lasts forever. With the Jack of Spades in Saturn, the King of Hearts person should avoid drugs and alcohol or anything in excess because this will be highly detrimental to their health and well being. They must be cautious of becoming egocentric or manipulative. The real test for them seems to be whether or not they're able to maintain their integrity, even in the face of challenges, and continue to forge forward. When they lose their integrity or attempt to take the easy way out, they will always reap what they sow. They may want life to be easy, but they must realize that their path is one that requires them to build strong foundation through consistent effort and determination before ease comes. So listen to me when I say the King of Hearts, Queen of Hearts, Jack of Hearts has addictive personality, energy attached to it. Okay. And if we're being honest, when it comes to relationships, that sort of thing, they got it rough, especially as a woman with the King of Hearts birth card. Because look, you got Saturn here with the Jack of Spades and the Queen of Spades. The Queen of Spades has the most difficult life path when it comes to relationships. Um, and that's someone that is more about money and finances and business, right? Wanting maybe wanting money and resources, maybe even spending a lot of money on drugs or alcohol, things like that, especially when you see the Jack of Spades energy there. Okay. Um, I will say now we could go look at her PR card, right? The King of Diamonds have a natural determination to succeed. They are masters of value or money, giving giving them a strong business acumen. They often have to work hard to attain the kind of success and recognition they want, but with determination, they can make it happen. They tend to be independent, motivated, and creative risk takers. These people tend to be unconventional and original trailblazers. They're often inventive and experimental. This is the only king in the deck with one eye. This makes them incredibly stubborn with a fixed view of things from one perspective. They have strong convictions and determination and tend to make enemies due to their competitive nature and inflexibility. They're often paranoid or fearful of the true intentions of others and can end up becoming the very thing that they try to avoid if they are not careful. The King of Diamonds person is highly creative with a strong spiritual nature. Their family and spiritual connection is a foundation for their self-esteem. However, they often have unhealed trauma that must be worked through in order for them to operate in high vibrational energy. In the high vibrational energy of this card, or their personality can appear to be detached, guarded, and critical. They tend to have an insatiable curiosity and enjoy learning and socializing. In business matters, they tend to do well in the leadership of their own businesses. They make good negotiators, but they must learn not to become too power hungry. They attain success from choosing to act with integrity and maturity, developing futuristic long-term goals and following through with them with the tunnel vision of the one-eyed king brings them many benefits. They often work well into old age. They can incur unexpected debts if they allow themselves to get stuck or decide to avoid the responsibility and hard work that really puts their truest talents to use. They often feel a strong sense of satisfaction by helping solve problems and suffering of others. These people have lifelong lessons to learn in what is truly of value in this lifetime. When they operate in low vibrational energy in an effort to achieve material success, they often end up with challenges that involve large groups of people or public disgrace. But when they understand that money and material success is never more important than character and love, they can achieve and keep the highest levels of wealth and success. Remember, this is Diddy's personality card and Cassie's planetary ruling card. So let me say that again. This is Diddy's personality card and his karmic lesson, and Cassie's planetary ruling card. So, what did I say? These people often have a lifelong lesson in learning what is truly of value in this lifetime. When they operate in low vibrational energy in an effort to achieve material success, they often end up with challenges that involve large groups of people or public disgrace. But when they understand that money and material success is never more important than character and love, they can achieve and keep the highest levels of wealth and success. The cards never lie, guys. The cards do not lie at all. Okay. They do not lie. Um, and this has been such a long live. We're at over 2 hours now. So I'm going to leave it there. Let me know if you guys want to hear more about Alex and Cassie. Maybe I'll do like a whole thing of Alex and Cassie. Um, if you want my predictions using the cards on Diddy or any other celebrities or whatever, let me know in the comment section down below. I appreciate y'all. I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.